Council of Kangs controlling the Marvel Universe Phase 5, Avengers 5, and see what War Series to say about this, and check this out.
In today's video, we're going to talk about the future of the MCU, because although Ant-Man and the most recent movies haven't been doing very well from a box office success point of view, Marvel does have a huge future and they will recover going throughout Phase 5. So, what is freaking good, YouTube or studio? If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, pop culture based content that we deliver on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below. What do you think about this video? We're going to talk about a plethora of different subjects, all related to how Kang the freaking Conqueror is going to return by the end of Kang's Dynasty. And also, if you could, follow us on Instagram at WarStew to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And also, if you could, check us out on Twitter, WarStewG, because if you're respectful, I respond to most people on that. So, it's clear the box office is open again. It's clear if you make a good movie, people will go watch that. Avatar 2, bang. No Way Home, bang. Top Gun 2, bang. So on and so forth. So, a lot of people still seem to use this excuse that not all the theatres have opened. So, I don't think personally Marvel's had a good movie. Well, not specifically a good movie, a movie that's grossed a lot of money since Multiverse of the Madness, which did just under $1 billion, but that was back in 2022. Thor Love and Thunder, 760, Wakanda Forever, 850, Ant-Man 3, 360. So they haven't really had a good number in terms of box office since Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I know a lot of people will go, Wakanda Forever banged. It didn't bang at all. That movie cost so much money to make. I'm talking about in terms of making a hell of a lot of money. They've been on a bit of a downfall, and obviously that happened during Phase 4 as well. Eternals 400 million, Shang-Chi 430, but somehow they've both got sequels. Apparently Shang-Chi 2 is going to come out before Kang's Dynasty, because they better start shooting it very soon if that's the case. Black Widow 370, and I know people will scream the pandemic, but that's just an excuse, because Godzilla vs. Kong came out day and day release and made more money than Eternals and Shang-Chi. So that's just an excuse. There is no superhero fatigue. We don't have a good storyline, we don't have a good plot fatigue, but there isn't a superhero fatigue. It's just, you keep putting out generic stories, people aren't going to go watch them, sadly. And word of mouth when it comes to movies means so much. Hence why Doctor Strange 2 banged, and, Thor Love and Thunder did okay. Wakanda Forever just about broke even, made a little bit of money. I know people in the comments go, yeah, Black Panther 2 made so much. No, it didn't. Thor Love and Thunder made so much money. No, it didn't. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania will probably make $500-600 million. But that's not really an issue for Marvel, because they can make up for money in merchandise sales for sure. So, recently, a lot of information's come out about Ant-Man and the Quantumania. So, ending this movie was very interesting. I've seen the ending a few times now, and there is a theory going around. I'm not going to say who specifically started it, because a lot of people watch this movie, but Eric Voss over at New Rockstars put out a video on the New Rockstars channel. Quantumania final scene, Scott, timeline change. So, is the whole of the Marvel Cinematic Universe now in a time loop being controlled by the Council of Kangs, by Immortus, some variation of Scarlet Sanctorium, and Ramatut? Because the ending scene, I'm briefly going to go over this, but go check their video out, is Scott Lang. The scene plays pretty similar to the start of the movie. He gets really worried about something that Kang says, and it almost looks like Kang is controlling, or the Council of Kangs is controlling the whole timeline maybe, or just Scott coming out of the quantum realm, because walks in the coffee shop, the dude knows his name, makes him pay, has these two people walk past him, then somehow they appear in front of him. It's very, very shady, kind of got the Truman Show vibes. So, I don't think Scott Lang won that. It looked like he did. I think the ending can be misconstrued in a lot of different ways, which is fascinating, but that's just a theory, but it looks very likely. So, did Kang die in Ant-Man and the Quantumania? Director Peter Reed responds, no, he didn't. He basically got sucked into the multiversal engine and will come out as the Beyonder in a roundabout way. But he doesn't really, in this article, he doesn't actually explain, is Kang killed in Ant-Man and the Wasp? He doesn't really answer the question. When asked if Kang the Conqueror died Peyton Reed responded, "I think that's the real question." He pointed to the end of the movie and how audiences can see Paul Rudd's MCU hero struggling with a question. The question right at the end, where he's questioning, did he actually beat Kang? Kang said he was going to do something. Kang said he was going to kill people. So essentially he's saying he didn't die. Kang didn't die, but he doesn't really answer the question. Well, I think the real question, I think you'll see Scott Lang struggling with that question. And I think I didn't actually know that that was a hard, fast rule that if you don't see the body, that doesn't mean he's dead, obviously. The filmmaker said, "I think Kang or Kang's variants are going to be present throughout Phase 5, preventing the variant from getting out of the quantum realm. And that's all that matters for now. I think Kang and Kang's variants are going to be present. I mean, in this whole Phase 5, there is a movie coming out called Kang's Dynasty. Now, I don't think the Kang's Dynasty, and from what Peyton Reed has said, etc., the Kang's Dynasty is about variants, not actually about Kang the Conqueror. Oh, what does that mean? I'm not sure. I'm not doing that. We'll find out. But to me, it was all about Kang the Conqueror and coming up against the heroes and sort of, them preventing him from getting out of the quantum realm. Then when pressed one last time, Reed critically noted, "You don't really want to know the answer to that question. You don't really want to know the answer to the question. You really don't want to know the answer. You think you do, but you don't. So, is Ant-Man 3 Warrior King dead? No, he's been zapped into the multiverse or engine, which probably, if the theory's right, it will be the Beyonder. Now, the Council of Kangs are really annoyed at the Pym family for destroying Kang the Conqueror, because there's a bit of dialogue where he goes, "You're annoyed that it wasn't you." Now, to me, that screams that it was supposed to be a Mortis, potentially, who was supposed to kill, because even though if they have the multiverse engine, they can go back and forth in time, they still have to stick to the parameters of time travel, or else worlds collide, incursions, all this kind of stuff. So it's not like they can manipulate time to do exactly what they want to do, is it? No, there are some rules. He Who Remains told us there are some specific rules. So, speaking with Phantom Wire, Peyton Reed noted there were a lot of discussions about which variants were specifically going to show, but the key was giving moviegoers a tease that there was almost infinite number of Kangs out there. Of course, in the Colosseum, we've seen literally thousands of them. They're not going to specifically zone in that many of them. I think the ending scene where we've seen Immortus, Ramatut, someone that looks like Scarlet Centaurium, I think that's predominantly the main ones they will focus on. Council of Kangs, imagine that's such an iconic comic panel, and suddenly you realise, oh, maybe there's a sort of Musketeer kind of Godfather-esque hierarchy at play that seemed interesting, and we had to do that all very, very quickly. And of course, I wanted to get the Council of Kangs image. That's such an iconic comic book panel with them. The guys in the cheap seats cheering up there, I loved it. So, Reed called the Council of Kang scenes a technical nightmare, giving credit to Jonathan Majors for getting specific with each of the individual characters. It's a technical nightmare, and it only works if you have actors like Paul Rudd and Jonathan Majors who can really, get specific with each individual character and their response. It was so much fun. Marvel Studios producer Steven chimed in on the post-credit sequence in a conversation with Collider. Steven said, "There are 3 Kangs the Stinger focused on were strategically picked because they had notable arcs in Marvel Comics." Very interesting. Kang was something that Marvel executives thought was exciting, as it teased something that anything is on the table. It seemed that anything is on the table. We've seen radical different versions of the character. Where does it go next? It could go so many places. The unknown, that is exciting. Far for me to tell that kind of Dustin, Daniel Cretton to make, for my colleagues to make. And it's in good hands with this stuff. But just the notion of such potential being on the table is exciting. So, essentially it's saying, with Peyton Reed and Steven, the spotlight is on Ramatut, Scarlet Centaurian, and Immortus was very intentional, as they are remarkable, recognizable Kang variants of comic book readers. It goes on to say there is a Lizard Kang and there's multiple other Kangs, but for some reason they zoned in on them 3 specific Kangs. So, Loki Season 1 already spoiled how to kill MCU Kang theory. The key to take down Kang. Some have speculated that Goliath from Loki Season 1 will be key in taking down the Council of Kang in the MCU. Goliath is the living tempest that consumes everything sent to the void, seen in the latter half of Loki's first season, being shown in enormous glowing beast shape. In the comics, the mysterious being absorbs and kills the Council of Kangs, something that is eventually found to be the plan by a Kang variant to take down the Council. This could be easily adapted for the screen in the MCU, tying directly back to Loki, since he remains, would have presumably had to take down the councils of Kang himself to create the sacred timeline, seen shattering in Loki Goliath, who have already been used in a way, being used again in either the Avengers and the Avengers Kangs Dynasty. So yeah, sure bro, maybe that potentially could be the way. Loveness, who was actually writing Avengers 5, aka the Kangs Dynasty, mentioned Iron Lad, who is yet to be introduced in the MCU. Iron Lad is a especially intriguing Kang variant who fights with the Young Avengers that in one of the plot leaks was supposed to be introduced or set up. Interesting. Attempt to thwart his destiny. The MCU seems to be setting up the Young Avengers with Cassie Lang, Kate Bishop, American Chavez, all ready introduced as a hero. Perhaps the Kangs Dynasty will introduce Iron Lad and help kick off the long-awaited Young Avengers. Loveness also calls out Hawkeye, War Machine as Avengers who have a difficulty fighting Kang. It's interesting that he uses two veteran heroes as examples. It could be because they don't have powers, but he doesn't mention Ant-Man, who has a personal stake in the fight, or Captain America, who is a veteran Avenger, most likely to lead the charge against Kang. Now, there's been a bunch of scoopers saying, and the wording here is very interesting, Spider-Man Tom Holland to lead the Avengers. Now, My Time to Shine came out and said, I said lead, not leader. Now, being the lead and being the leader, it's completely different. So, what I think's happened is the standard case where a scooper says something that's most likely a theory or something they've heard very loosely and people run with it. Now, a lot of people seem to forget what happened in Multiverse of Madness. Tom Holland, Spider-Man, literally outsmarted Doctor Strange. Also, something that people forget, Spider-Man is a kid genius. He's so clever. We see him use Stark technology in Spider-Man Far From Home. So if Tom Holland Spider-Man was to be the leader of the Avengers, I don't understand why people were thinking that would be a bad idea, because Spider-Man could be the next Iron Man in the MCU because he's a boy genius, he's got the Spidey sense, and realistically, everyone would rally around him. So I don't find that idea too ridiculous, to be honest. So, the writer for Avengers 5, the Kangs Dynasty, has been teasing stuff, and it's made people go crazy, and it's like, what do you actually expect? Avengers 5, big death, trolls, teased by MCU writer. Well, there's got to be death in an Avengers level movie in order for there to be an emotional response, in order for there to be an actual threat. Death is on the way. I think for these bloodthirsty fans, there's a little movie called Kangs of Dynasty. I think he'd bring the heat. What else did he go on to say? I mean, certainly in all these Marvel rooms and you certainly game out all stories and pitch them out. You write them, you're trying to land the best puzzle piece because there's so many characters in the assemblement. So the quote that everyone's taken out of context is this: but I wouldn't worry too much about Kang's kill count. He's going to rack up so many kills as he goes along. Now, what they should have shown in Ant-Man 3, when he goes, oh, have I killed you before? Should have shown a flashback scene to him killing. That would have been cool. And of course, now everyone's going to run theories like who's going to die, and people are like, yo, Ant-Man, someone in the Ant-Man family should have died in Ant-Man 3, and then some scooper from the Cosmic Circus implied one of the Ant-Man family members will die in the Kangs Dynasty. I mean, it would have served more of a purpose if they did it during Ant-Man 3, to be honest, but I can see why they saved it, I guess, for the Kangs Dynasty. But it would be disappointing if only one person was to die. Rumours about earliest plot details only just began to surface, with Kang on the path to take down the entire multiverse. The first wave of Avengers hunt him down, even teaming up with He Who Remains. Okay, that is literally just a theory. And Major says he wants to obviously work with Robert Downey Jr., wants to work with Chris Hemsworth. Why? Because you bring these actors back, and I wonder what the movie would do so much better if you bring them back, for sure. So, it's going around everywhere. So, Shang-Chi 2 is supposed to be coming out before the Kangs Dynasty, which means the Kangs Dynasty is going to have to be delayed because they've not even started shooting Shang-Chi 2. I get it, Shang-Chi could appear anywhere. A variant of Kang will appear in Shang-Chi 2, and literally expect the variant of Kang to appear in every Marvel movie for the next 4 years. Why do I say 4 years? Because Secret Wars will probably get pushed into 2 movies, 2027, 2028. Kang's Dynasty will probably get delayed to 2026. None of these actual release dates are set in stone at all. So Scarlet Witch will be returning. For some reason, Shang-Chi is very important to the overall multiversal saga story. It's probably due to the 10 rings. Captain Marvel's also very important, but she is a cosmic being, so it would make sense. Shang-Chi with the ring that we presume are from some artifact from the first multiversal war. Maybe, I guess, Captain Marvel's going to be important because she has to protect Miss Kamala Khan and the Bangles because they will be very important going forward. Carol could be the face of Marvel going forward, depending on how well the Marvel does. There is a really big connection between Miss Marvel and Kamala Khan, so that does make sense for sure. I'm not the biggest fan of Shang-Chi, let's be honest. I'm just going to say I'm not really, but hopefully he can change my mind when he is on screen more. Scarlet Witch will be returning. Elizabeth Olsen confirmed it without actually confirming it. If I were to tell you exactly what I want, I think I would be spoiling something I don't know if I can share. I just want to come back. So there is a lot of rumours that Kang has been manipulating the Darkhold and potentially could be the writer behind it. There's literally a clip of her saying that. Apparently Wanda's going to be in the Agatha show. She could appear or will appear in Kang's Dynasty and Secret Wars, but won't get a solo movie to after Secret Wars. Maybe, we don't know. Apparently MODOK's returning, although he died, or did he really? I know in the initial plot leak that was real before they changed a bunch of stuff a month ago, that MODOK was actually supposed to like double cross both of them, essentially fake his death, but actually not die at all. So, is it? I mean, these are a bunch of like rumours that are going around. Black Bolt is not in the Marvel's travesty. Spider-Man 4, 2025. So Spider-Man 4 is coming out before the Kangs Dynasty. Deadpool 3 will be moved up. World War Hulk, they still plan on making it. I heard the possibility of Maestro being included. Your boy Bush said that 3 years ago. So yeah, a lot of these rumours that go around, they're just rumours. Speculation, if you like. Eternals 2 will probably come out all these movies coming out, yet nothing's actually being filmed. It's freaking mad, lads. It really is. So that's all the rumours and speculation and all the kind of verified information from Peyton Reed and Jeff Loveness, who is the writer of Avengers 5. I think Marvel's got a good future. They just need to stop messing around and putting out nonsense. They really do. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WatchGG, see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter at WatchGG. I will catch ya in another video very soon. Catch ya later.
If you like this video, great night. See you guys.